MCL, the word in your home.
Good morning and welcome to our regular breakfast program. Good morning, Abia from MCL Television. My name is Cynthia Echeme. And remember what we usually do here, you and I. We usually bring you in the know of the happenings around you as we touch Abia State first, and which is in line with the belief that charity begins at home. We also bring you other states, news surrounding other states, and also global news. All right, immediately after now, you and I will be working to Words on Marble to find out what they are going to be telling us now. From the marble, we get ourselves inspired for the day or for the day's activities. Afterwards on Marble, I'll be reading out the news for you on One Star Breakfast Show's news package. And after that, we'll take a break and get back to do our newspaper review, where we're going to be concluding our news bulletin on the program. After newspaper review, to be time for us to get you entertained with our documentary. After the documentary, we get back and begin our discussion segment. Remember, on our discussion segment, we usually look at very interesting topics that have to do with you and I as true citizens of Nigeria. And this morning we are going to be doing the release of the Senator Inyinnaya Abaribe, the Senator representing Abia South at the Senate. We hope you'll be joining us then and tell us what you think about his release, between his arrest. At this point in time, we also want you to join us then and tell us what you think about the release. All right, let us go to first things first, and that is on the news. Resolved to address the worrisome menace. All right, let's take Words on Marble. In order to succeed, we must first believe that we can. In order to succeed, we must believe that we can. You and I, we have to believe that we can to be able to succeed. Whatever we want to achieve in life, it has to begin with the belief that we can really do that, we can achieve that. And this is from Nikas Kazanzaksi. And for you to really be whatever you want to be in life, it doesn't just end with you saying, I want to be the president, I want to be the youngest president or the youngest governor or the senator or chairman. It really has to begin with you believing that you can achieve that. Without that, even before you set out for election, you've already failed. You have to begin to believe in yourself. We have to collectively believe in these God states, our own state, God's own state, Abia, that we can really achieve the highest heights. We can get there. When we collectively believe that, we begin to pray for Abia State and begin to wish us well. Even in your daily prayers, begin to involve Abia in your prayers. And that way we begin to do the needful, all we need to do to take this state to highest heights. Begin to pay your tithe, begin to pay your tax, and begin to do the needful. Do not backstab Abia State. Do not talk us down. Don't talk down on the governor, not even the chairman. All right, and with that, Abia State will really get there. All right, let's take you to the news. Resolved to address the worrisome menace of trafficking in human, the federal government on Wednesday conducted plans to infuse trafficking in persons TRP into the curricula of basic and secondary schools across Nigeria. To this effect, a two-day sensitization and advocacy workshop organized for publishers and authors by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIC, kicked off on Wednesday in Lagos in order for the targeted participants to provide needed textbooks and other learning materials to complement federal government efforts. The Director General of NAPTIP, Dem Julie Okadanli, explained that the essence of mainstreaming TRP issues into the curriculum of schools in Nigeria was to deepen the prevention aspect of the agency's work, stressing that with the knowledge of TRP issues and related crimes at early age by the pupils and students, it will be difficult for them to fall prey to traffickers and by extension make them become vanguards against TRP. She lamented that despite NAPTIP's achievement over time in form of enlightenment, partnership, prevention and prosecution, some children, women and youths still dared the dreaded Mediterranean Sea and deserts. She further lamented that uniformed victims were becoming increasingly vulnerable to the crafted schemes of human traffickers, who she said often devised new strategies and routes. The fusion, according to Okodoni, will become an effort in futility if the pupils and students do not have corresponding materials and texts to buttress the topics. This, she said, necessitated the two-day seminar, expressing optimism that authors and publishers will be adequately informed and sensitized about human trafficking, and at the end produce suitable materials that would make teaching the topic easier. Through the duration of the seminar, the DG said participants will be taken through what human trafficking is, its scope, causes and effects, as well as efforts NAPTIP had taken to combat it. The President Muhammadu Buhari is considering the reorganization of the nation's security architecture to stop further killings of innocent citizens. Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara disclosed this on Wednesday after a closed-down meeting with President Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. The meeting, which centered on discussion of Saturday's killings in Plateau, was also attended by the President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki. The meeting between Buhari, Saraki and Dogara was held at the official residence of the President shortly after the commencement of the weekly Federal Executive Council, FEC. In an interview with newsmen after the meeting, Speaker Dogara said they discussed with Buhari on strategies, including security issues, to end the deadly killings of Nigerians. According to Dogara, the President on Wednesday's meeting informed the leaders of the National Assembly that his government was taking pragmatic steps to ensure that the country does not witness a reoccurrence of the just experience. The Speaker described as sober this period in which several lives have been lost. He said they were in the villa to console President Buhari, Nigerians and the people of Plateau over the killings. People have been advised to strive to be contented in life irrespective of their economic situations and social background, as this is the only way to achieve happiness and fulfillment. The advice was given by respondents who spoke to MCL News on what makes people happy. Chinyere Chibu tells us more.
Describing happiness as a mental or emotional state of well-being, which comes from the subconsciousness of man, respondents observed that acquisition of material wealth, affluence, and social structure cannot induce enduring happiness in people. They said that joy and happiness, which are some of the divine gifts, can only be achieved when one is contented in life in spite of vast material acquisition.
Happiness is a choice. If you choose to be happy, you will become happy. If you choose to be sad, you will be sad. Ordinarily, what makes me happy as an activist I am is not material things. When I look at the social welfare of people being implemented to the extent that people are enjoying it, I am happy.
The problem we have here, people are looking at whether I have plenty of money, I'm a millionaire or a billionaire. A lot of millionaires and billionaires are scoundrels. A lot of them can't sleep in the night. But you find out, you can see a very poor person. He's happy with what he has. And Immediately you go to him for aid, he is able to share what he has with you. Some of those who claim they have so much money do not give whatever. Even to their own mothers, they don't give them money. Why? Because the sources of how they got the money makes them live a life of suffering within themselves.
Joy can only come when the conscience is relaxed, when the emotion is relaxed. But as long as there is guilt speaking in the mind of a person, he cannot have joy. That's why our Lord Jesus Christ came to appease the mind by appeasing God. When God is appeased and you find out, oh, God is happy with me, things are happy with me, joy comes out from your heart.
Many of us, we don't have joy. You see somebody who has a lot of money, yet he is not satisfied. The most important thing, the key is for you and I, for the people to have Christ. When you have Christ, you have joy.
On how to achieve happiness in life, respondents noted that since the creation, man have strived to attain peace of heart and happiness through the accumulation of material possessions. Humans still find it difficult to achieve happiness, which has continued to elude man due to lack of contentment. To promote happiness, men should extend hands of fellowship to the less privileged in the society, as well as living a godly life.
When you don't live a good life, when you want to soil your hand, you want to wicked yourself, you want to wicked the other people, you want to wicked your neighbor, you want to wicked the neighbor, you have so many things to wicked people. Then you will never be happy, because each time you remember those things, you will be sad. Those things will torment you for life. There's what we call conscience. Whether you want to kill it or not, it is there. There's other things you will do that will make you sad all your life.
We are looking at the things that are not important. The most important thing in life is be joyous. Love your fellow man. Whatsoever you have, share with others. That is how life gets you joyous. When you see somebody that is in need and you're able to help him, you will be a happy person. But when you gather only to yourself that you are going to have it on, it's a lie.
Because you have not appeased your conscience. You've not appeased, you've not deleted that act in the subconsciousness. How can you have joy? Joy is a gift from the Holy Ghost. It's a gift from God who deletes our guilt.
Christ is the key for joy. Without Christ, no joy.
Others who spoke off camera stated that happiness, which is one of virtues of contentment and also an emotional expression, even in a state of material deprivation, is the hallmark of a complete being. Chinyere Chibu, MCN News.
Professor Mahmoud Yakubu on Wednesday urged Nigerian youths to live up to expectations of ensuring credible election in 2019. Yakubu, who spoke during INEC campus outreach at University of Lagos, said the Nigerian youths have a major role to play in determining the outcome of 2019 general election, as they constituted the back of electoral officials and voters. According to him, we have about 120,000 polling units nationwide. Each polling unit is marked by a minimum of 4 ad hoc staff, and majority of which are youths serving their fatherland. From the 27th of April last year to the 14th of June this year, we registered 9.7 million new voters, majority of which are young people. These youths also constitute the bulk of voters during election. So Nigerian youths need to take it upon themselves to register, vote, and make necessary changes that they all desire. A credible voters register is a prelude to free and fair elections. Voter registration helps to facilitate the credibility of the electoral process by preventing multiple voting, as each person is only allowed to register once. For those that have registered before but changed residence, you don't need to go through the process again. All you need to do is to go apply for transfer of your registration from your previous location to your current location and at the registration center close to you. Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Walter Onoye, has directed all chief magistrates across the country to inspect police detention facilities in their areas on a monthly basis. In a memo dated June 20, 2018, Onoe said complaints of horrific incidents of police brutality of innocent Nigerians had reached frightening proportions. The nation's chief law officer said magistrate courts were currently overwhelmed with cases of inordinate arrests and detention of citizens. He noted that the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA, had given magistrates oversight and oversight functions over police stations in their jurisdictions. Onoe directed the chief judges in each of the states to direct chief magistrates to at least every month conduct an inspection of police stations or other places of detentions within their territorial jurisdiction other than the prison. During the visit, magistrate may call for and inspect the record of arrest, direct the arraignment of the suspect, and where bail has been refused, grant bail to any suspect where appropriate if the offense for which the suspect is held is within the jurisdiction of the magistrate. The National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, had requested access to cells in all police commands and formations in Nigeria in order to oversee human rights situation of detainees. From the international scene, Moscow and Washington have agreed to hold a long-delayed summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin. The decision to hold a meeting between the leaders was announced earlier on Wednesday by a Kremlin foreign policy advisor, Yuri Ushakov. The announcement follows a meeting between President Putin and U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton. Mr. Trump said his meeting with Mr. Putin could take place after next month's NATO summit in Brussels. The president said the meeting could possibly take place in the Finnish capital, Helsinki. He told reporters he would discuss the war in Syria and the situation in Ukraine with his Russian counterparts. Mr. Trump last met with Russian President in November in Vietnam on the sidelines of an Asia-Pacific summit. The summit will take place in a mutually convenient third country with a date and location to be officially announced on Thursday, Mr. Yushkov said. President Putin said his meeting with Mr. Bolton had raised hopes for a full restoration of relations, which he admitted were not in the best of shape. And that's a Good Morning Abia package of the news. And with that, we take a break. And when we get back, it's time for us to look at the papers. And that is our newspaper review. And then we conclude our news bulletin for One Star Breakfast program. Don't go away.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
What is that noise?
It is Obezekwe.
What did they happen?
Yeah, now look at the case.
Okay, so
Okay, so.
Time to rebuild Abia. I urge you to set aside our differences so that together we can join hands and build the Abia of our dreams. Remember that my word is my bond.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
You're very much welcome back. It's still your one-star breakfast program, Good Morning Abia, from MCL Television. And this is our newspaper review segment, where we are going to be looking at the papers and find out what they have for us this morning. As usual, let's start with the Daily Sun. The Daily Sun this morning, from the top right, you can see Imo Assembly suspends 4 members sympathetic to Deputy Governor. Imo Assembly suspends 4 members sympathetic to Deputy Governor. Please continue the story on page 7. A catchy headline says, Plateau women, youth storm government house. Declare, stop the killings. Demand justice as Christian body alleges plot of fresh attack on southern Kaduna, Middle Belt states. March works with action, Soyinka tells Buhari. Alright. And these are more on this very story. Go to pages 5, 6, and 10 of the Daily Sun and grab it there. And beneath there we see 1.64 billion naira fraud. Court declines to grant jailed ex-Taraba governor Nyame bail. Please go to page 4 for more of that story. Cross River teachers shut down police schools over unpaid salaries. Cross River teachers shut down public schools. Shut down public schools over unpaid salaries. And that story is on page 11 of the paper. Wike, most targeted politician in Nigeria, says McCarthy. Wike, the River State governor, most targeted politician in Nigeria, coming from McCarthy. Go to page 12 and get the story in details. And with the picture there, we can see Governor Nyesom Wike of River State with former acting national chairman of PDP, Senator Ahmed McCarthy, Rivers State Commissioner of Education, Dr. Tamunosisi Goga Jaja, and others during the commissioning of Nyesomni Grammar School. This happened yesterday. Alright, and with that, we go to the back page of the paper, the Daily Sun. At the back page, we are meeting Newton Jibono, generators killing us and the environment. Generators killing us and the environment. Alright, go to page 34, and Jibono is saying, making a lot of sense here. The fuel, very, very deadly. Alright, Super Eagles players lament World Cup ouster, and that's on Russia 2018. Go to page 45 and grab the story in details. And away from there, we meet Amazobi's broken times. It's your turn, Lalong. Alright? It is your turn. That's the governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, thought he was in a safe haven. He thought he was inhabiting an impenetrable fortress. Alright, that's just the beginning of that story. I hope you're going to read this column in details and find out more on this. It's your turn. Lalong, we must remember the killings in Plateau. And Lalong is the governor of Plateau State. Alright, and with that, let's meet Citizen Joe. 2019, Tinubu asked Buhari to ignore OBJ, calls him busy body. And that's the news. The response where the fan always is, love in Tokyo. Alright, and that does it for the Daily Sun this morning. Let's quickly go to the next paper, which is The Nation, as we continue to pray fervently for Nigeria. And on the top left, you see killings must stop, says Wale Soyinka, the Nobel laureate. And go to page 44 and grab the story in detail. Remember, on the Daily Sun, it says the president must match his words with action. Okay, on page 4, let's find out more from Soyinka on the Nation this morning. The next story is Court orders forfeiture of Desiani's 325.4 million naira land. Right? Go to page 8 and grab the story in details. The next, Obaseki backs integrated produce city project. Obaseki backs integrated produce city project, and that story grab in details on page 7. Messi, Sampoli salute Super Eagles. Go to page 24. Of course, they really played a nice game. Inside story, World Cup special, fixtures, results, and more. Right, that's for inside story, The Nation. Alright, and when we leave down, we see Ekiti 2018. PDP chieftains defect to APC. Fayemi has answers. MPN Balogun is not our candidate. Voting APC is invitation to chaos, says Fayoshe. Alright, like we said earlier, and more of these go to page 45. A catchy headline here says, Second Niger Bridge for completion in 2 years. Second Niger Bridge for completion in 2 years. Federal government raises hope on project that will boost Southeast, South-South economy. Alright, and that story is on page 6. And away from there, we can see a very touching picture element. The crowd of protesters at the government house in Jazz yesterday demanding that the killings be put an end to. Alright, like we said earlier, read the story in details. Alright. Killings, Buhari to shake up security. Go to page 2 and continue the story. Killings, Buhari to shake up security. And CBN directs banks directors to protect data. Go to page 2 and grab the story in details. And the last on the front page, Abia to resolve abattoir crisis. Abia to resolve abattoir crisis. Go to page 7 and find out how. FAC meeting ends in deadlock. Go to page 12. Find out more on that story. And let's quickly go to the back page of The Nation. as we meet today in the nation from Lawal Okelamo. Plateau and other killings. Plateau and other killings. A World Cup update. Alright, and beneath the story of the World Cup update, as usual, all Nigerians have become experts in soccer. The coach, Paul Fellow, is being hammered for the loss. Alright, I'll urge you to read this story in the back page of The Nation in full, especially as sports lovers from Benga or Montoshaw editorial notebook, a World Cup update. We can see the photo element, the face of Mikel Obi, the Eagles captain there. And beneath there we see headball, Apocalypso dance. Apocalypso dance. What is Apocalypso dance talking about or referring to this morning or signifying this morning? I'll ask you to read this column in details and find out for yourself. And the next comes Ripples World Cup. It's over for Eagles news. At least Nigerians can now go to sleep without fear of high blood pressure. Alright. That's the Ripples this morning for you. And from The Nation, we go to the next, but last but not the least paper, which is the New Telegraph. The New Telegraph this morning, CBN disburses 158.7 billion naira to discos, GENCOs. Meters to be available by 2021. Reps, neck, power firms extorting Nigerians. Alright, and that story is on page 4. And the next story there we can see federal government FGN June 2018 bond auction over subscribed. FGN's June 2018 bond auction over subscribed, says GMO. Go to page 5 and find out more on this story. And next down there we see parents trade girls for cows as war hits East Africa. Parents trade girls for cows as war hits East Africa. Go to page 3 and grab this very revealing story. Alright, the next is June 12th declaration. Tinubu won't save Buhari in 2019. Yebade has said. Go to page 10 and find out more on this very interesting one. And the FAC meeting ends in deadlock. We can see Adolshu here. Alright. The next is medical doctor slumps, dies watching Nigeria-Argentina match. Medical doctor slumps, dies watching Nigeria-Argentina match. And that's the face of the man, Ebiri. Okay, when we leave down to see protest rocks Plateau over herdsmen killings. Protest rocks Plateau over herdsmen killings. Cars, buildings damaged. Government officials flee. Soldiers arrest perpetrators of massacre. Dogara Buhari to overhaul security architecture. Lalong, we would surrender our land. OBJ Saraki visit Jos. Alright, go to pages 2 and 8 and get the rest of the stories in full. Beneath there we can see picture elements, suspected killers of Bakilagi massacre. Okay, the next is one of the damaged vehicles of the Plateau State Government House during protests over herdsmen's killings in Jos yesterday. Alright, the next country headline, PDP demands nullification of Oshomele's election. Says APC breached section 85 sub 3 of Electoral Act. Says APC breached section 85 sub 3 of Electoral Act. Go to page 3 and find out more on this piece from PDP. Mild sleep disturbances can raise blood pressure. Mild sleep disturbances can raise blood pressure. Go to page 6 and get more on this on health story. And at the back page of the New Telegraph on Mabo, political language is designed to make lies sound truthful and murder respectful and to give an appearance of solidity to pure wind. George Orwell. And the next is Ra. Eagles deserve more in Russia. Go to page 37 for more of the story on our Eagles. Departing Southeast budget. Departing Southeast budget. You can see the faces of Ekweremadu and Abaribe. The recently released Abaribe. Alright, okay, let me read out a little bit of this column already counted for you and I. It says the slashing of budgetary allocations in key projects in the Southeast is curious, although not surprising. If it is removing or decreasing of any goodies, it would not have been any other place than the whipping geopolitical zone of the nation's policy. Alright, and that does it for the papers. I'll simply just to read up. You know, it's always the tip of the iceberg. We continue to encourage us to read our papers. It will help us to be more informed than to be deformed. The more you read, the more knowledge you have of the happenings around you and around the world. And the more you discuss intelligently and based on facts and not on rumors. Alright, and before we go on a break, I want you to watch this documentary, The Last Song Before the War. The Last Song Before the War. And that's what I hope you're really going to enjoy this documentary. Alright, let's take a break, and when we get back to the time for us to begin our discussion segment on the release of Abaribe. Don't go away.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
For inquiries and booking, contact Address Hotel and Suites at number 18 Opobo Road, Obo Hill, Aba. Telephone 081 000 00895 or 081 000 00896. Address, the pride of hospitality and tourism.
Have you heard of Prescal Gold and Heaven Options Limited? Prescal is a home of the red image right here in Abia. Why go to Lagos or Port Harcourt for your direct image jobs? Come to Prescal Gold and Heaven Options located at number 145 Azikiwe Road, Abia for perfect cover page, journals, magazines, brochures, and flyers. We also offer printing services in digital flex and billboard, window graphics, posters, stickers, heat transfers, ID cards, complimentary cards, monogram, and car branding. Heaven Options offer you entertainment services like event management, ambulance services with well-dignified undertakers. We can also boast of 3 months ordinary program in computer training, 6 months certificate in computer training, and 1 year advanced certificate in computer training. Why not visit Prescal and experience that quality jobs? For inquiries, call 080-3322-6115, 070-4024-7196, 070-8469-8165.
Do not deface Abia State with posters. Do not defecate on our streets. Do not litter Abia State.
My brothers, I say wetin man go do for this world where people no go talk. If you chop,
Do not urinate in public places.
you no chop, dem go talk. Wetin make we do for this world? I say make we dey do the things wey we carry for heart. Na so world want am. Abi no be so?
Keep Abia State clean. This message is brought to you by MCL TV.
Good morning, Abia. Your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
C'est les plus braves vont venir, les vrais amateurs de la musique vont venir.
You're one with the people, and the people are one with the artists.
Le Mali a 8 régions, un district, mais tout le monde se retrouve autour de ce festival.
The Festival in the Desert grew out of the end of a long simmering conflict between the Tuareg and the Malian government.
La musique, elle a toujours un rôle. Ça dépend de comment tu l'as utilisé.
On a utilisé cette musique pour essayer de réactiver, si je veux dire, de réactiver notre culture.
This part of West Africa is like the cradle of music, and Mali in particular, which became the blues, which became rock and roll, went to America. It's really it's like the big bang of all the music that we love. And now, in that same town, it is against the law to make music.
Nous sommes aujourd'hui le 1er janvier. Dans 6 jours, 5 jours, le festival va commencer. Aujourd'hui, on vient de faire la dernière réunion pour voir les dernières choses à faire. Il faut organiser maintenant le voyage des artistes, des journalistes, des invités.
Tu as seulement Sédour et tous les internationaux.
C'est très difficile, mais tout va normalement. En fait, cette impression de relax, elle est seulement extérieure, sinon à l'intérieur, ça brûle.
Bamako is the capital of Mali. It's the place you arrive. There's so much going on there. It's so rich. But to go from there to Timbuktu is really to go to another world. It's a long way. You know, if you can fly there pretty quickly, but if you go overland the way most people do, it takes days.
For the festival, we have so many tourists. It is why today, big market so busy. We have so many tourists today, and all of them want to go to the festival.
West coast of Africa to Senegal, and by Senegal we went to Mali, and from Mali to Niger, Nigeria, and back through Niger, Burkina to here for the festival.
Le festival du désert, c'est très bon. Ouais, merci.
I have to say, it's a really soft country. People are really relaxed and chilling out, and that's what you see everywhere around you. No, it's a good place to be. I like it.
Peace. We enjoy music, everything, happiness, no trouble. Yeah.
Il y a le mystère de Tombouctou. Tombouctou, elle est unique de son genre. Tombouctou, c'est Tombouctou de tous les temps. Il y a toutes les ethnies qui s'embrassent entre eux ici à Tombouctou. Même dans le Mali, Tombouctou est unique dans son genre. Tombouctou, c'est le lieu de tout le monde. On est éduqué dans ce sens. Donc, Tombouctou, tout le monde, tout petit kid, tout marabout, toutes les femmes, elles sont prêtes à accueillir les étrangers. Ce festival, il est grand chose pour nous. Il fait rentrer beaucoup de choses pour nous. Il nourrit les yeux, bouche.
C'est bon. Allez, bougez.
The main problem of the day end of the festival is the problem of our sound system. The sound system they had an accident on the road, and we had to change the track, and the sound system is not still in Timbuktu. So this is really what is our fear now. It's just arrived now, at the border of the river, and we need 2 hours to cross the river and 6 hours to fix it to be ready for the concert. So let's hope everything will be okay before the opening this afternoon. Yes, I didn't sleep at all last night because we are trying to get news. There is no phone where we were. There is no phone connection, so it's really stressful. But this is a festival in the desert. The team from Taiwan, journalist from Taiwan. We are not our airport. We just welcome some journalists, some artists, and some VIP invitees of the festival. This is the first flag. The second flag is coming in 1.5 hours with the official ministries and some important artists coming from abroad. From United States of America, my favorite at this festival.
Ça va? Soyez les bienvenus à Tombouctou. Welcome to Tombouctou. Et l'album Trab va sortir.
On a des véhicules. Okay. Voilà, une personne qui sera out et l'Enistan c'est 4 personnes. Non, 3 personnes. Sten, voilà.
Combien de personnes?
La moyenne pour le festival chaque année, c'est entre 8 000 et 10 000 personnes. Côté population locale, ça va augmenter. Maintenant, côté participation hors Afrique, on n'a pas encore toute la maîtrise, mais on pense que ça va être entre 500 et 600 personnes, peut-être plus.
Un public, hein? Oh non, c'est pas la même.
You know, there are a lot of music festivals, and you go, you pay a ticket, you go in, you have a good time, you buy some merch, you get a CD, and you say, hey, thanks a lot, and you get a beer, and you're gone. Maybe you get a backstage pass. Essakane is unlike any other music festival because you're one with the people, and the people are one with the artists.
Ce soir, le programme il va être alléchant et il va être non-stop. Regagnez vos places, fixez-vous et on va faire craquer les planches. Pour vous, Mathilde Polissi, qui vient de très loin. Puis, Samba Touré, Dieu compris.
The three principal members are myself, Boubacar Sidibé, and Adama Dramé. Boubacar is the crow, the grandfather of the band, as well as Mamadou Kote. He is also our percussionist. And then Adama Dramé, he's an unbelievable guitar player.
No, 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 no. Hey, hey, hey. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. Je t'aime, j'adore. Vivre le whole l'amour. Je t'aime, j'adore. C'est I love Mali. I love Mali.
As a harmonica player and a musician, to me, Mali was calling me.
Ce soir, c'est la 5e fois que je suis invitée chez vous. Merci Mani. Merci Essakane. Merci Tombouctou.
When I sent an email to the festival and just thinking, and they invited me. I never thought that this email sent to the end of the desert would reach a person, but it did. they always respond to the blues because the blues, in fact, comes from here. So really for a guitar player, it's great because all you need to do is play a blues lick and everybody says, yes.
There's this deep sort of DNA connection between our folk music, and I'm not just talking about the blues, this would extend to like old-time country music, the banjo. The banjo is a direct result of this process. It was modeled after an African instrument, essentially like the ngoni.
When I came to the festival in the desert for the first time and performed, and I met Basiku Kuyate there, and when I sat down to speak with him, my first thought was, wow, American music is really popular. The blues really got everywhere. It sounds just like John Lee Hooker. And of course, you know, very shortly thereafter, I realized that it's African music that's very popular and that we are literally to the note playing those same lines that have been played in Mali for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Saboti mana mana terebe, babine mene sangu bana zinebana. Jebera jina modo partner de roti jamana jallo. no matito katani de pinu tino donan jaiba. Ali filiforo filikise bori beledu.
There's just a lot of aesthetics that you sense when you hear Mali music that seem kind of, they're not the same, but they're definitely familiar. And that connection is fascinating, and it's very persuasive, even to people who don't analyze it that way. I think it's one of the reasons that there are more Malian musicians signed to international and American record labels and touring the United States than pretty much any other country in Africa.
Vous êtes prêts pour chanter alors? C'est pas possible. Vous êtes là pour chanter? Vous n'avez pas froid? Ok, let's go. On y va.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
You're very much welcome back to One Stop Breakfast program. Good morning, Abia from MCL Television, and this is our discussion segment where we usually discuss very important topics. And this morning, like we hinted earlier before we went on that break, we are going to be looking at the release of Senator Enginaya Abaribe, the senator representing Abia South at the Senate House. All right, and this morning, to do justice to this very topic, I have right here with me Comrade Ike Opiugbe. So welcome to the program.
Good morning, viewers. Thanks for having me on the program.
Okay, well, while we await the arrival of the second Gateway's chief, Jude Dachara, let's forge ahead and let's give you a very brief background to this very topic. 5 days after he was arrested by men of the Department of State Services, DSS, Chairman, Southeast Senate Caucus, Senator Eninaya Baribe, PDP Abia South, has gained freedom. About 6:32 p.m. Tuesday, Senator Eninaya Baribe went to freedom after 5 days in the DSS gulag. Baribe, who was granted administrative bail, was released to his lawyers, led by Chukwuma Matuku Ume-san. Speaking at the premises of the DSS facility in Abuja, he thanked Nigerians for standing up against the wrongs done to Nigerian democracy with the arrest of Senator Baribe. He said, "The collective cause and demand for his release have shown the great spirit of Nigerians for justice." DSS personnel on Friday morning arrested Baribe and later cordoned off his Apo residence. Baribe, who is the Senate Committee on Power, Steel Development and Metallurgy, was picked by DSS at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. DSS had gone to his house last Friday with him at 5:44 p.m. and searched for 6 hours. Recall that on Saturday, lawyer to Eninaya Baribe, PDP Abia South, Chukwuma Matuku Ume-san, gave insight into why the lawmaker was arrested on Friday by men of the Department of State Security, DSS. Addressing journalists in Abuja, Ume disclosed that Baribe was arrested and detained by the DSS operatives because of allegations that he was supporting, aiding, and sponsoring a proscribed body, the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB. According to the lawyer, the security operatives searched every nook and cranny of the house in company of Baribe, who was brought from the headquarters of the DSS for a period of 6 hours from 5 to 11 p.m. before he was taken back to the headquarters, adding that the security outfit have denied the senator access to his lawyer, family members, and his doctor. The lawyer disclosed that the arrest was contained in a search warrant dated 2nd June 2018, which directed DSS operatives who searched Baribe's home to focus and search for arms and ammunition and any other incriminating document, while the alleged crime was aiding and supporting a proscribed by the IPOB. All right, that's a for now. Let's go ahead with the major interesting questions. Comrade Opigwe, 5 days after the incarceration of Senator Baribe was released just 2 days ago, can you tell us what it was that you think that grants? What would you understand by granting him administrative bail? I know you're not a legal practitioner.
Before even going to the administrative bail granted to him, handed over to his lawyer, well, let's look at even the background. Who is this Eninaya Baribe, Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Eninaya Baribe was a deputy governor of Abia State during Ojo's Okalu regime. Senator Eninaya Baribe is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Senator Eninaya Baribe is the chairman, Southeast Caucus, in the Senate.
All right, I'm sorry, sir. Before we forge ahead, let's take a break and get back and begin the discussion. Let's go.
One-stop breakfast show on TV.
Ah! What is that noise?
It is obeying quick.
What did they have?
Yeah, now they're gonna go so.
Okay, so the
Okay, so.
Time to rebuild Abia. I urge you to set aside our differences so that together we can join hands and build the Abia of our dreams. Remember that my word is my bond.
Good morning, Abia, your one-stop breakfast show on TV.
All right, you're very much welcome back to our breakfast program, Good Morning Abia's discussion segment, where we've been talking about looking at the release of Senator in Abaribe, the senator representing Abia South at the Senate. And we've just been joined by Chief Judu Dajara. So you're welcome to the program.
Good morning, sister. Good morning, Abians.
All right, before we went on that break, we had asked Comrade Iko people, let's rephrase the question. Would you tell us immediately you heard about the release of the arrest and the release of Engineer Abaribe? What went through your mind? How did you feel?
About his arrest.
And release now.
Release.
Although we've been treating the arrest of Abaribe, you were not a part of it. Abians want to hear what you think about it. When you heard that he was arrested, how did you feel now? You are now hearing how he's been released after 5 days. How did you feel?
Okay, when I learned about the arrest of Abaribe, I was at the Abuja on that Friday morning. And the first thing that occurred to my mind, what must have happened? Why must he be arrested at a popular hotel in Abuja? Don't they know they should have invited him? He's somebody representing more than 10,000 vote electors in the house. He's somebody well known. Why can't the DSS have the simple respect to just invite him? Come, let's have a chat. If he has committed any known offense to them, which we don't know. But they simply walked there, picked him up, took him to his house, did search from 5 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., turned everything upside down. And we said that, is it because he's vocal in talking? When Shehu Sani, who was in that line also, spoke and criticized the government, similar things came to him. The same thing to Dina Melaya, the same thing that have now happened to Abaribe. My thought at that moment is that he's a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If we have committed any offense known to the security, which we don't know, there are legal procedures to follow to invite such people, not to embarrass him at a popular hotel. Thank God that also they have released him after 5 good days. How you will know that the thing was highly planned, that they picked him on Friday? They know he will be done that Friday, he will be done Saturday, he will be done Sunday, unattended. Then on Monday, Tuesday, that anything can happen. He has been granted administrative bail. That simply means they gave him to his lawyer so that whenever they need him, the lawyer is bound to bring him back to DSS to face interrogation or any other thing the DSS may deem fit.
All right, thank you very much, Kabedo Pigwe, for that, for bringing to light that question very well. Let's come to you, Chief Ajudu Dachara. How did you feel with the arrest and release of Abaribe?
I think I was there and I was in shock over his arrest and shutting opposition down, those who are criticizing government. Criticism used to be one of the, what I call avenues for those in government to really get to know things that are not doing well. I mean, it used to be in a democracy like ours, and every other democracy, criticism is one tool that those in government use to assess themselves and also use that to fashion ways to move forward and carry everybody along. So it's not a bad thing to criticize, no matter how badly we're criticized. So any government that doesn't want to hear criticism means that government doesn't want to perform, doesn't want to hear from the people. So we're happy that it's been released, but this is one of the things that common people suffer in this country. People get arrested on a Friday so that it could be shut out till the next week, you know, so that it could be humiliated, so that fundamental human rights could be abused. It is unfortunate that in Nigeria we are still experiencing this anomaly. It is something Nigerians, I'm sure when the time comes, they will vent their anger on the government in power. I don't have that about it.
When the time comes, how do you mean when the time comes?
Election is close by. Nigerians will really show their displeasure by using their PVC and voting out the current APC government that is shutting opposition up, shutting them down, humiliating honorable persons in the society just because they've spoken one thing or the other against the government. So Nigerians are waiting.
All right. Thank you very much, Judo Dachara. At this point, I want us to consider this very particular issue. We know that aside from the president and a few others that are covered by immunity, that anybody in Nigeria could be arrested if the law thinks that there are some questions you need to answer. So why do you think that Abaribe's issue, Abaribe's own, is quite peculiar? Why so much condemnation from every quarter surrounding his arrest?
The condemnation is just straightforward. What I have said that is a known person. There are less than procedures to arrest somebody, even a common man in the society. When you feel that somebody has committed a crime, known to the security operatives, not known to the public, the law said you need to invite the person, even at his own position. When you invite the person, you tell the person the offense he has committed. When you tell the person the offense he has committed, the person is answerable to that offense. And when answerable to that offense, after interrogation and all the rest of them, you immediately charge the person to court. That's the rule of law. Not humiliating him, detaining him. But in this one, when the SS picked Abaribe, Senator Abaribe, the word we are expecting to hear, the offense he has committed. Don't forget that up till now, DSS have not issued a statement saying this is the offense Dr. Abaribe has committed. It's only the lawyer who said that when he insisted on seeing the search warrant that the DS people came with to search Abaribe's house, that they showed him the search warrant, that at that search warrant he saw gun running and supporting and sponsoring IPOB. For DSS, up to this moment, they have not issued a statement to say this is what Senator Abaribe's crime is. So it's so humiliating. It's the human rights abuse that a person representing more than 10,000 electors in the National Assembly, a person that is the chairman of Southeast Caucus in the Senate, A person that had been a deputy governor in the state, you felt he committed a crime, you couldn't follow let down procedure to just give him invitation to come. It's when he refused attending after the invitation that you can do the things you have done. If what the lawyer said that contained in the search warrant is true at all, that is aiding and abetting or sponsoring IPOB, a proscribed so-called terrorist group, terrorist organization, is the case not in court. What the DSS could have done is simple thing: go back to the court, let the court now give an order on that, because it's already a case that is in the court of law. But going to hold him hostage at a popular hotel in Abuja, picking him up from there, not following the due process, and even till now you have not told the word offense he committed. That's why there must much outcry. If you see when Falana was talking on it, he said that it's needless picking him at that hotel. If you feel he has committed anything, invite him, charge him to court immediately, or give him the administrative bail which the letter gave to him, and that should follow. Other things that need to follow will follow. That's why the world was crying so hard.
All right, thank you very much. Chief Judo Dachara, let's have your view on this.
Well, there's I think probably military balance or security balance, they call it shaking somebody up. Abaribe has been outspoken in the Senate. It doesn't just represent 10,000, represent over 30 million Nigerians. I mean, the Southeast, being the chairman of the Southeast caucus in the Senate, very represent well over 40 million Nigerians. I mean, so holding him, the government just underrated the outburst and implications of shutting Abaribe down in prison without any reasons whatsoever. He's somebody who had taken Nnamdi Kanu on bail, and he's got his shorty for about 100 million naira. He's got his stake is over 100 million naira for the release of for the bail of Nnamdi Kanu. He's even contesting losing that bail, that shorty, that bail bond in court. So the question of running away or not appearing the next week, yesterday, the day before yesterday, they had to appear in court on that matter. Probably that was their reason, like preempting running away of Abaribe. So they had to get hold of him that Friday so that they could present him in court. Whatever they were thinking, maybe the judge was going to put him in jail, whatever was their reasons. But it was a government DSS biting more than they can chew, really, shutting down such a personality without any reasons.
All right, the Chief Judge, from what we read up, said that he was not aware of why Abaribe was appearing before him. What can you make of this?
Yes, that was the earlier thing I said, that the case is already in court. That is needless picking Abaribe. Even preempting what he will do, is only God that can appropriate and reprobate at the same time. DSS can't preempting what Senator Abaribe could have done on the hearing that came last Monday, that can warrant them picking him up. These things are all guessing work. As far as the case has been in court, being a shorty of Nnamdi Kanu, he is bound to be in court that day, and there is no record whatsoever that Senator Abaribe have resisted going to court. Anytime he has issue at court on this matter, he has been persistent and consistent in attending the court matters. So why is it this one that will preempt him? That's why the judge said he is not in a position even to grant him bail that day, because he wouldn't know the reason, and he didn't order his arrest. So far he didn't order his arrest. Justice Nyanko I'm talking of, he can't even release him on that matter. And you see, after that Monday issue, by 6:32 p.m. on Tuesday, he was released. And that's why we said that guesswork and speculations, as DSS have done, even in the security network and intelligence gathering, it doesn't help out at all. They have not boldly come out to say, this is the reason why we arrested Senator Eyin Baribe. Everybody just gets it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief Jude Dachara, can you tell us, from your own view, what you think all these signifiers of the current Nigerian state, including our judicial council?
I mean, Nigerians are not surprised. It's only those who have not followed the history and style of our current president, President Muhammad Buhari. This is somebody who said, I said it here earlier in the program, that when he took over power from a civilian government, I mean, President Shagari did little or nothing. I mean, nothing was found on him to date. No corruption, no act of corruption has been attributed to him for no just cause. Took over power, or he was invited to come and head a government that took over power from President Shagari, whatever was the reasons. But upon taking over that power, he started picking, even Bruce Ali, for instance, was governor of Bende State, that had no house, couldn't build a house in his village. Shot him down, and the man died subsequently due to those things he suffered as a result of the detention. Our own Diambakwe that we hold so dear here, who did a lot of job, shot him down, and with long sentences, life sentences on all of them. And he's so proud to date that he shot them down so that they could prove their innocence. So that is a civilian president today. Some people in the society decided to let him become president. Does not change that fact that this is the way our president thinks. This is the way he wants to operate. So once you criticize government, you should be shut up, you should be sobered up. They call it sobering somebody up. So maybe with this 5 days detention, before Abaribe could speak in the Senate, he has to think of the ordeal he's gone through, the 5 days he was in detention, what the worst that could have happened to him there. There's always that thinking by the civil operatives, who unfortunately playing out this role, that is so unfortunate. That once you talk, you could be dead. In fact, you could be arrested, and the heavens will not fall. So that's what just is playing out. That's just the mentality, a cake mentality, really. Because even in the USA, I've seen people march on the streets for decisions that Trump takes, for signing executive orders. People march to the White House, and they don't get picked up. People call out people to the streets and march. See, obviously, our military, our security operation wake up that this is 2018. We are in a new world age. You don't have to play out scripts written by executives. You need to be with the people, because it's with the taxpayers' money that your salaries are being paid, your families are being maintained. You should always be with the people and not with oppressive rulers. So we need to wake up in this country and face the fact that we are part and parcel of the global democracy.
All right, thank you very much to Judu Dachara. We've been discussing the release of Eyin Baribe, the senator representing Abia South. And we also want you to join on this discussion right away, because there's a number already displaying on the screen. Use the number, call us, and ask your questions or come up with your opinion. The two gentlemen here are also capable. They're quite capable of answering any of your questions thrown to them. All right. While Chief Dachara was talking, you hinted at the possibility of this stifling the voice or silencing the voice of Eyin Baribe or any other very loud voices at the Senate. Let's now hit the nail on the head, the hammer on the head. So, do you think that this is capable, really, of stifling or silencing the voice of not just Eyin Baribe, other voices of the people at the Senate plenary?
No, this can't even work. Criticism remains the ingredients and hallmark of every democratic dispensation. So in a democracy, you must constructively criticize the ruling party all over the world, not only in Nigeria here. When they picked Shehu Sani, because he was so vocally criticizing the government, after picking him up,
I'm sorry, sir, let's attend to the number one caller. I'll get back to you, sir. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, thank you for calling, please. All right, your location, please.
Abba.
Yeah, where in Abba? Okay, go ahead.
I'm still puzzled by the rest of the Arabia. I'm still puzzled. What is the main reason behind the arrest? No complete evidence, nothing. So what I think is that I want to know.
All right. Well, if you were listening or watching us from the beginning, the gentleman here will answer. Thank you very much.
Because I go back there, that's what we have said, that
yes,
DSS has not come out and made a statement, which we can hold on why Senator Abia was arrested. So it's when they issue their own statement that we can be analyzing the implications of his arrest. But for now, DSS have not issued any statement. The statement which is closest we are relying on is what the lawyer said. He read from the search warrant presented by DSS, which is, among other things, gun running and the helping and the sponsoring proscribed IPOB. Right. We can't even hold what the lawyer have said. Or the DSS made their own statement categorically.
Okay.
Then whether
let's hear the next caller. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Your name and location, please.
I see your name. Akoya.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Akoya.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, sir, for calling.
I want to ask those two questions.
All right.
What are the advice? And I just take over the comment on it. One. As people themselves who are not paid, are very comment on this. Second question. As I just take over this comment on this. As I see government, I've been this comment on this. I know of Mohammed, I have read of the Mohammed, but I have not seen the one from South Government Code and the one from other state government. Why am I saying that? As I say, to the best of my personal knowledge, has remained focal point of the national state. And it has been was very about Abia South. And we move ahead. As the chairman of the and at the same time, we don't right. So I expected the strong word from the governor of the country. Even the president, what should have told the Bahas? What should have told much of them? Hey, that's the same government. That is not what I want to do.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
I would like the caller to know that not just making statements, but Abia State government swiftly moved personnel to Abuja.
Okay.
The moment they heard about the arrest, and never rested until he was released. So, if you are talking about the early, quick release of Abaribe, the Abia State government contributed immensely towards getting that done. In fact, that was the object. That was the governor had to even go to Abuja, we dispatched persons to Abuja swiftly, and then kept contact, and also even reached out to the presidency and assured that Abaribe was released. The timely time he was released. Okay, so making statement publicly, I don't know whether that will come, but just note that Abia State government moved swiftly because it was a senator representing Abia South that was picked up on drum-up charges. So.
Okay, so let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
May we know who is calling us?
We're calling from Abia.
All right.
The investigation on fire, Abia was arrested.
You want to know the
implication of why that Abaribe was arrested?
the implications of his arrest. All right. The gentleman here, they have attended to the implications. He can still go ahead and claim.
Implication of his arrest. The implication of his arrest that the entire Southeast is angry with his arrest. And when the time comes, they will vent their anger on the government of President Buhari and his APC loyalists who orchestrated all this harassment of opposition, because his overzealousness. Somebody talks or criticizes the president of the country, and then his security operatives swoop on that person to shut him out for 5 days, and then sober him up, harass him, intimidate him, just intimidation.
All right.
So that's the implication. And in a democracy, that rather than when you vote, going to deny APC and their members, a lot of us come 2019 elections.
Okay, let's take this now. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling. Lower the volume of your TV set.
I'm going for a while.
All right, thank you very much. Your name and location. And I know you are from Abia. Which area of Abia?
I'm Abia.
All right, thank you very much.
Hello?
We are hearing. What do you have to say? What's your question or your opinion?
My question is, I want to know whether the former governor of Abia is aware of the arrest of the
You want to know whether
the former governor of Abia is
okay, the former governor. Everybody, yes, all Abians, all Nigerians ought to have heard the arrest and release of Abaribe at the moment. All right, thank you very much. Comrade Kopi, where you were explaining something, we had asked, do you think that this is capable of?
Yeah, that's what they are saying, that it can't shut the criticism and the oppositions up, because examples are there, which you can see. When Sheikh Hussaini, one of the best refined politicians you can see in Nigeria, criticized their whole, they made a statement, one duplicating one thing or the other, it have not shut him up, rather it increased their sense, and he continued to criticize. When Dilo Melaye was humiliated, he did everything and all the rest of them, till today you see Dilo Melaye criticizing the government. As they have arrested Abaribe, humiliated him, later released him, abused his fundamental human rights, it can shut him up. It will even increase many people that will come out and they criticize the government. And what is the implication of what the government is doing? The government is making these people heroes, unknown to them, because they are talking the mind of the people. That brings me to the presidency and all the security actors and the operatives. You know, most things, this thing may happen without the knowledge of the president. But that is true. Because when you talk of the presidency and the president, it's two different institutions all over the world. When you come to the president is a single individual elected by the people. When you talk of the presidency that is now doing all this work, it's a very complex something. You have the chief security officers there, you have the appointees in the secretary to the government of the federation, you have the kitchen cabinet of the president, and most times when they had to criticize their organ or their boss that appointed them, instead of taking that criticism, analyzing it, and making the input to the president, how the issues will be addressed, because they are not Democrats, they will move on to the president. Let me tell you for one example. Prior to the Anambra election, you know that the kitchen cabinet of the presidency withdrew the security of the governor. Everybody is aware of it. And there were huge cries here and there. But when the president himself, now as individual, went to Anambra State, he said he's not aware of the withdrawal. And for that reason, the security withdrawn should be reinstated immediately. So most times, it's the power-hungry, undemocratic elements appointed by the president to even advise him that are giving him all these wounds. Right. And the advice is simple. The president should train all his appointees on democratic rules and regulations, because this is purely a democratic society.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good morning. Please, let's know who is calling us. All right. Good morning, Dede Zeje. Where? From where? All right. Thank you, sir. Let's have your opinion on the topic.
It's a target Abia at the road for the wake up call. That to give a good result on this avoided problem. So in that ahead, let's have their rise up on their toes like this. So in my direction, when the Raja is on throne, the giant and the on throne, that is what is happening on the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, AJ, for calling in. All right. You're done with that. Okay. Let's now. Chief Udajara, Chief Comrade Kopiwe said that it is possible that the president might not have been aware of the arrest of Engineer Baribe. So, with all the things that have played out, what's your view on? Do you think that it is possible that the president wasn't aware that he was arrested?
Whether he's aware or not, I mean, he takes responsibility for everything that happens in this country as the president of this country. He's the chief security officer of the nation, and not just a nominal one, but the one with the powers that he calls the shots. So the boss stops on his desk. So he's responsible for Engineer Baribe's unwarranted arrest. So that's the boss stops on his desk. So whether he's aware or not, he's aware. And for 5 days, I mean, the national news carried it. There was never any executive order to have him released until they brought him to court. So the question of being aware or not, I mean, is ruled out. He's aware, and he never made any official statement, condemning the action of the security operatives, DSS operatives or not. So the president is aware.
All right.
So.
Okay,
and it is unfortunate.
Let's take this call. All right, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Your name and location, please.
I'm calling from my name is John.
All right, thank you very much, John.
I'm interested in this topic this morning.
All right, thank you. What's your take on that?
Nigeria has gone back to the era of the dictatorship now under Buhari. You can see that there is no freedom of speech. Freedom of association, religion, and other things. And nobody saying anything. When Nnamdi Kanu was saying about this thing, so many governors and the Southeast governors of Hanese were conspired against him. Out of jealous and greedy and hatred, they should go and present to that man. If not so, they will not have peace in their life, and their nation will continue to survive. That is my position.
All right, thank you very much.
The guy made a serious statement in Nigeria going back to dictatorship period.
Yeah.
And in the days ahead, Nigeria should also embrace up for fascism and this mode of dictatorship. Because what these security apparatus are now working on is to make sure that at all costs, they want to re-elect the person that appointed them and have also second appointment. So as 2019 is just drawing up, you will see more of this abuse of fundamental human rights, you will see more arrests, you will see more clamping down on the opposition in order to pave way for the president. But my advice on the whole thing is this. President Muhammadu Buhari now is a democratic elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He should be democratic enough to open the democratic space that will contain everybody. Even the appointees he is making, he should give them training on how to accommodate democratic views, observations, norms, and regulations in a democratic society. Because after all said and done, he still have a story to tell. When you took over in 31st December 1983, you clamped down on everybody, putting everybody in jail and prison. Decree 4 and all the rest of them, we are still fresh in the mind of the generation that we are born then. And your control and command policies by then and decreeing everything, it didn't work out. it will clamp down on the economy. And you have taken over again in this comparison as a fully democratic elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and you are still thinking that that decree for then and other decrees that made you to clamp down on opposition can work. It can't work because you created Nadikos by them that started fighting here and there and get back the freedom we have today as a democratic government. My advice to him is that to cool down. We elected him. He's our president. He's in democratic dispensation. Let him respect all democratic norms, regulations, and observations, and train his security officers on such so that we can enjoy the freedom, not taking us back to 20 years.
All right, thank you very much. So let's take this call. Sir, please, let's take this before you come back. Hello, good morning. All right, go ahead.
But nobody can give what he doesn't have. So you are not a Democrat, you are not a Democrat. They are just saying in the military parlance that soldier own are one way. So they hardly change. So and he can't change, the president can't change from his perception about criticism. Army believes in the last order. He issues an order, he has an opinion. Everybody down the line must take it.
All right,
so you must accept it, must go by it. So if you criticize him, you are looking for trouble, and the opposition should be shut down.
Okay,
I mean, understand that an enemy is an enemy. You are not with him, you are then against him. So the way out is just for Nigerians to brace up. Come 2019, to no matter what they're saying, no matter the propaganda, no matter the whatever they are calling, just ensure you vote out APC all the way. Anywhere you see APC, don't ever vote for any APC candidate. Don't vote for President Buhari, so that they can go back home, and mend ways.
So by saying this, you are anticipating a free and fair election.
Nigerians must insist that the election is free and fair. Nigerians must insist.
My take on the voting and my last view on this issue is simple. If you look at the background and history of DSS, they are not good in giving out public statements. The first public statement DSS gave in their life was in 2001 when they raided Tel magazine. Tel magazine by then wrote something against Obasanjo. And they raided Tel magazine, and the whole world were saying this is a democratic dispensation. For the first time in the history of DSS, they came out openly under George Mba by then, managing Tel magazine, and gave out a publication on what really happened. And we also advised DSS that to also queue up, apologize to distinguished Senator Oyinaya Abaribe, because you have not told us why he has been arrested and his fundamental human rights abuse. They should go to the press, apologize to that democracy working for you.
All right, thank you very much. DSS should raise up and apologize to the Senator Oyinaya Abaribe representing Abia South and the courts. They were now able to come out and tell Nigerians what he did and why they really took him to the court. They really arrested him. All right, with that, I'm afraid because of time constraints, we are going to be ending this morning's discussion segment on One Star Breakfast program. Good morning, Abia from MCL Television. We promise tomorrow to come up with more interesting topic for your own entertainment and enjoyment. From me, Cynthia Chenep, Comrade Iko Bigwe and Judo Dachara, we say to have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
MCL, the world in your home.